en español, ¿no?
Good morning. We are back with another episode of Women Unscripted. And it's just that it's an unscripted interview with amazing women who've gone through challenges. And hopefully, we get to pick out a couple nuggets of information to learn from each woman because we've all gone through stuff. And we can all learn from each other on a daily basis. This is Celina Chocron, and I met Celina through a networking event that I was going to weekly. And after speaking with Celina, I knew that there was something special about her. She has a very special program that she's come up with, which she'll get into now. And after we got talking, we got to know each other a little better. We I was able to have the honor of having her in my 31-day program. And then we'll talk about that more later too. But Celina, welcome.
Hola. We will do it in English or Spanish.
We can do it in English.
Okay.
Yeah. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
So Celina must be very tired because she just came from a long trip from Venezuela. Is that right? How long
Yes.
were you there for?
In Venezuela for 1 week.
But you were born there, right?
Yes, I was born in Venezuela.
So tell
I,
me about that. Tell me
I
about your.
lived over there until I was 30 years old, and then I moved to United States. Um, in Venezuela, we had a very good life. I I have all my family over there. My children were born over there. We went for I studied my career over there, which I love it, and I was a principal in a school over there, and we were good until politics happened, and we decided to move here. I had like a traumatic event over there, like I was in the car and it was not safe in Venezuela, and I have my 3 children in my car, so somebody tried to rob me. I don't know if to kidnap king, I have to hit the car in front of me to avoid them to get into my car. So from that moment, my husband say we have to move. We didn't see a future for our children, and we really moved to United States for our children because we were very good. My husband had a very good business. I had a very good life. My old friends, since I grew up with my friends since kindergarten until high school, the same people. So we were very attached. We are Jewish, and the Jewish community was beautiful over there. And I had all my family over there, a lot of supports. Um, but we decided to move here, which was a big change for
Is
us.
it true that like Venezuela has like one of the highest kidnapping rates like in the world or something? It's something like super high
It
crime.
was, it was, it looks like now it is improving, but it was, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
scary.
The kidnapping and the crimes. I mean,
Yeah.
you couldn't go into the street with none of the jewelry, none of the jewelry, phone in your pocket. You have to go very low, profile.
Was that before like the whole communist movement or after?
It was
Always.
always like this, but it got worse.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be back at your home early. We have like a safeguard in the building that we live. Always, looking everywhere. It wasn't like you could, but because the other part was very good, so it was like compensated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Must have been really hard to give up your position as a principal and your husband's good job and your life as you know it, right? Just kind of come over
exactly.
here and start over. Did you have family here?
We, my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law moved like a year before us, and it was the only one. We came to try 1 year. So we came with one luggage. I told my children, everybody's gonna pack one luggage. We left our house over there. We left everything over there, and we came for 1 year, and we stay because Venezuela got worse and worse, and we couldn't. I mean, we said this is not the life for our children. They don't have future here. We took a very good decision. Actually, it was my husband who pushed me a lot to move. He had that vision, and well, he was traveling a lot to Venezuela because his business was there.
Yeah.
So he was traveling, coming back. I thought that I knew English, but when I moved here and I called somebody, I was like, "What? Can you tell me it again?" And they started to scream instead of repeating slowly. And I was telling them, "I can hear, but I cannot understand you." Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So
And then, so uh, everything that you had in Venezuela, what happened to all that? Like your house and the rest of your clothes and all that. Did you go back and
we
take care
went
of
back.
stuff?
Yes, we went back. So, for our vacation, we went back and then we brought another luggage. And then my mom, every time that she came, she brought, all the things, like even for my marriage, the gift that they give you for everything so my mom was bringing me all the stuff. I think that it was like until 3 years that I got all my stuff back from Venezuela. We sold the house. And I mean, after we decided, we stayed with the house like for 1 year, and then we said, okay, it's not getting worse. It's not getting better in Venezuela. We weren't here good, but we said, this is the life that we want for our children. And when I moved here, I still have the trauma, like for, looking everywhere. I couldn't
Right.
drive, like, you know, for me, I have to lock the door from the house. I saw that people were locking the house door, and I said, "How come?" And I went into the car and always locking the door of my car, putting the windows up,
Which
and
is a good practice. It is to be safe. It's
yeah,
get into your
I'm
car and lock it. That's a good
exactly.
practice.
But it's still, it's still in my mind. Like you panic when you see something.
Right.
Um, but over there, even my children couldn't go out to the street, and we moved. We moved to plantation first, and I know that my children wanted to go out. And I saw the children playing outside, and I say, "No, you cannot go without me." And until I adjusted to that.
How old were they when they moved over?
I have three children. The oldest one, she was 12. The other one was 8, and my youngest one was 2 years old.
Wow. That's
So I
pretty
moved
tough
my three
ages.
children with no help, with no language, with no job. Um, and in Venezuela, we live like queens and kings. People cannot believe it how we live, with a lot of help in the house. I have nurses in my house taking
Wow.
care of my children. Yes.
And then when you came here and you came to plantation, what was that like? What was your day to day like? So you didn't have any help. You didn't have any family. You didn't have any nurses or anyone at the house. That must have been extremely difficult.
It
And
was
then as your,
difficult.
what job did you get? Like what did you start with?
So I think that this was the most difficult part because I like to work, even though in Venezuela I didn't need to go to work. I work because it was my passion, not because I needed to work. So coming here and staying in my house, cleaning the entire day, because that's what we're doing. I was doing cleaning and um, and cooking, and no friends, which I have a lot of friends in Venezuela, which we support each other. So I have only my sister-in-law, no friends at all. I felt it was like kind of a mixed feeling. Like I felt safe, so I felt good. But by the other, I felt very bad, very sad,
Right.
very alone.
Alone.
I was alone. So I tried to to see, be with groups. I don't know, somebody know me, and Spanish people, a Latin Jewish person knew me from the school, and she told me to join a group of women, and that was for me, a Latin people. So I felt good going to their meetings and these kind of things, and then I wanted
I
to
think that's a
work.
great way to get immersed into the community, right? Connecting with all these other women.
Yeah, I try to stay very positive. You know, I'm the person who motivates myself a lot. Like I don't stop. That's the truth. I'm not going back. I'm not seeing back. You know, I'm not like, oh, I had a very good life. Why did I move? No, I have in my mind that it's something, if God puts something in our mind, it's for our good. And I trusted that feeling. So I move on. I move on and I say, okay, whatever I feel, I have to move on. And that's what I did. That's what I did. I tried to do everything. I went to learn English. So while my kids were in the school, I went the entire morning learning English and trying to organize my life, like from cooking, from cleaning, from my kids, and trying to then to have also my support for
Yeah.
myself.
Looking for balance.
Exactly. And then I wanted to work, so I found a job as an assistant from the preschool. So from being the principal from the school, I was
Yeah.
an assistant and I was changing diapers and I was doing all this stuff. But, it felt kind of hard. But then I say, well, as I told you, I said, that's the opportunity that I have and I have to start from the beginning. And that's what I did. I start from the beginning.
And that's amazing. And your three kids and your husband, how did they adjust? Did they find it easy to adjust?
Yeah, well, the 2 years old, of
Yeah.
course, didn't feel it. Um, my my oldest one, they adjusted. My second daughter, she was missing a lot of Venezuela. She had a lot of friends. She's very social, and she was missing. But they were happy. My
Yeah.
kids, they were happy. I mean, they went to the school and they were okay. I think that the kids. My husband and myself, for us, it was the hardest one
Right.
because, first of all, to get the English, and second, he was traveling a lot. So I was alone a lot
Yeah.
because he was traveling to Venezuela and coming back. And it was a lot of pressure for us in all the way, even like, with the money and with the new things. But we hold it. It was a lot of stressful.
Yeah, I would say so. And
Mhm.
what a difference from the life you lived over there to here. In many ways. In, financially, you were very well off over there, and here you struggled, but over there you struggled in the safety part, and here you had, freedom to do whatever, but you were still stuck in your mindset of, having to watch your back and watch your kids. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm sure like it was draining, like mentally and emotionally, spiritually, just draining that
It
whole
was,
process.
it was, but I was trying to hold on things and people that can give me the strength that I needed. So,
So you found those, like that women's group, you found that to be a good support.
very good support. Very good support because most of them were also immigrants that they maybe moved years before myself. So
Yeah.
they understand me. So it was a lot of support.
That's something that I love, that I think it's so underrated, these support groups. And it's not so much that you go in looking for support, but just for connection. You just want to connect with someone and say like, oh, that's cool. You've been through that too. Me too. And how did you do this? And did you hear about this program? And did you hear, and then you build this great community, and it just makes life so much easier, right? And so much more pleasant than having to trial and error everything, come to this new country and try to figure things out when someone's already done the work. Like, why reinvent the wheel? Like, go pick their brains and figure out, wait, you got here how long? Oh, cool. What have you done? Or do I have to do this? Or do I have to do that? I think it's so important in general in life because it takes a village. I always say, well, the saying says it takes a village to raise kids, right? I think it takes a village just to get through life for adults too, especially when you're feeling alone and you're new to the area. So if you can find your village
Exactly.
soon enough, right? And you don't have to suffer that long or real like deep suffering, like real deep dark depression, then those groups are the best, I think. And then that's why I love these women's groups, like, and the ones like, that we created
Mhm.
with our walking group, which we'll talk about now too, because I know that was a challenge. Um, I think it's just so important to connect, make connections and network and reach out to people when you are really looking for help, right?
Yeah.
So you get here and you go through your struggles, which all immigrants do with the money and the language and all that, but yet you end up creating a business. Tell me about your business.
Well, so when I started to work in the preschool as an assistant, and I speak a little bit of English, not too much, but of course I guide the teacher because I knew much more than the teacher. So
Wow.
I guided the teacher, I guided the challenging kids and everything, and the principal saw me that I knew a lot. So I told her for the next school year I want to be a teacher. I don't want to be an assistant. So she told me, but what about your language? And I say, I know, but don't worry, we will, study and we will acquire. So I went to be a teacher, and from the teacher, I went to be the curriculum coordinator. And after that, I say, okay, now what? I wanted to move up to get to the
Yeah.
point that I was in Venezuela. So, and then my husband told me, why you don't go back and do your career again and get your certification? And I say, no way. I was 40 years old. In Venezuela, it's very different. The college is very different. Young people go to college. Old people don't go to college. So for me, it was a shock. How am I gonna go to? I mean, this is not far. It's not gonna be my environment.
Yeah.
And then I say, okay, I'm gonna try. And I went to Broward College to get my certification as a teacher. And then I got my certification to a teacher. I say, okay, I don't want to work as a teacher. I love it, but I wanted more.
Yeah.
So I started to work with a company, very nice company, who sent me to different non-public school, a company from the state, and I went like doing like a pull out for students with learning disabilities, challenges, and all of this. And then I said, okay, I need to move on. So I was the person who was motivating myself and also my husband. It was, pushing me a lot too, because he knew it that I have a potential. So that's helped me a lot. So I went to do my master degree because I wanted to be the coordinator as I was in Venezuela. I didn't want it to be a principal because principal is hard. Even in Venezuela, I said, well, this is so, but I wanted to be the coordinator for the special education program in a public school or charter school. And that's what I went for. I went to study, and I can remember those times was very, very challenging for me because of the English. I didn't have a good English, so you have to write a lot. So whatever for somebody who is a native speaker can do it in an hour, it take me 3 hours to do it, the assignments and all the work. And I have a different professor who challenged me a lot. I do remember that I have one, and I can't forget. That's something. There are things in your life that you cannot forget. When I start studying, I have one math teacher who sent an assignment, and I sent an email to him, of course, an email that was not well written. So he sent me an email back, and he said, I'm not going to respond you until you write this in the proper way for a college students. So,
Oof.
and I was, no way. I empower myself. I say, no way, you're not gonna do it to me. I'm not a kid. I'm not an 18 or 20-year
Yeah.
college student. So I responded back to him, and I said, this is discrimination, and I'm not gonna, math is nothing related to writing.
Right.
So I can, and actually I ended math with the highest grade in the class. So, um, so he was quiet, and I told him, if you don't respond me, I will report you because you're discriminating me. And he did. So at that point, I started to
He
empower.
did respond to you?
He respond. He responded the question that I did.
Yeah, the original question.
Exactly. So he understood that
Right.
it was right. Um, and actually, when I see him, it was an online class, but when I went to the test and I see him, he said, oh, you're Celina Chocron. And I say, yes, I am. So he was, so, and a lot of things that happened through college. I I was working at that time when I did my master degree. I was working, and I was my kids, of course, my house and everything, and I was studying. So I can remember it was 1 year and a half. My master degree is supposed to be an accelerated program, but I couldn't do it. I did it in 2 years instead of two, and that's why when I guide my students, I'm now I know what they feel because I
Yeah.
felt the same thing. So um, I finished my career. I remember taking my computer everywhere. I took my but at that time my kid was 5 years old, and it was summer. I did summer. I did everything because I wanted to finish fast. In my
Right.
mind, I'm not young. I need to finish fast. So I took him for any park that we went. When I was with my computer, you play with your friends, and I was with my computer working until 3 a.m. in the morning after everybody went to sleep. Um, and and I felt very proud. And then I got the job that I wanted, which was the coordinator. So, it was challenging, but at the same time, I felt good that I was going up the way that I
Yeah.
wanted to,
Yeah.
to do it. Um,
Must have felt very empowering.
very. It
Yeah.
was a mixed feeling. All the time it was a mixed feeling. I think that when you're an immigrant, it's until you don't get to certain points, like now I have 22 years here in the United States. I feel okay. Now I feel that this is my country. This is my, but it's a mixed feeling of everything, like empowered, but at the same time, oh wow, look what all the efforts that I have to do.
Yeah.
It's not resting.
Yeah.
So,
So
and then
how did you come up with this business of yours? Tell us.
yes, so then after I started to work as a coordinator for a charter school, and I had like a 200 kids, you know, with me. I see a lot of things. I'm a person that I don't keep quiet. I'm not, as you see, even with the teacher and everyone, if something I don't like it, I say it. And it doesn't matter for me if this is my job, but this is for me is more important what it should be. It's what is, you have to be honest, you have to be professional. And I'm working with parents and children. So I did see for them. So I have a lot of like things that I didn't like it, like administrators telling me to do something that I didn't think that it was the proper way to do it. So I left the school and I said, that's not what I wanted. I don't want somebody to telling me to do something that is not proper. So I left the school, and then I say, okay, now what? Now what? I got to the point that I did what I wanted to do. Um, so again, my husband told me, why you don't open, he's a businessman, and he told me, when you don't open your own company, you know a lot. And I say, I don't know nothing about business. I mean, I'm an educator. How am I gonna open a company? And then he helped me. He helped me, and I did my website. I was not technology at all at that point, so and I opened my company. I opened my company a little bit and put this, and I put everything that I have the experience in my mind, and looking for those poor parents that I work with in the school, what was their challenging, and I say, okay, I'm gonna offer these services, and I open Educational Service 360. And even for the name, I see the name now, and this is like more than 5 years. And I say, okay, what name I'm gonna put it? What do I wanted to offer to those parents? And then I said, I wanted to offer a 360 services, that they feel that they're safe with me, that I'm okay, I can offer everything that they need.
Like
Like,
what specifically?
well, I offer, because those parents who has children with some challenges, I don't like it to call special needs. Actually, my company was called at the beginning Special Needs 360, and I changed it to Educational Service 360. Um, because so those parents needed uh, somebody who can work with the children, with them, and with the school. And that's what I call 360, because working, I didn't want it to be the tutor and what if they don't follow in the house what they need to do, it's not going to help. If the school doesn't do what they need to do, it's not going to help. So that's what I and then
You're an advocate for
I'm an
those kids.
advocate. Yes, I'm an educational consultant, and I do have. It's not an advocate. It's not just an advocate. There's a lot of advocates outside, which they just go to the school and advocate for the kids, and that's it. No, I follow my students for 6 months, and I work with the student, I work with the parents, and I work with the school. And during the pandemic, it was very hard. During the pandemic, I was, doing everything.
Virtual.
Actually, everybody didn't do well during the pandemic, and my business did very well during the
Mm.
pandemic, because I have a lot of students, they have a lot of needs. And at that time, I was offering only the advocate part and tutor the students. And I said,
Was this all virtual?
all virtual, yes. And I say I need to put together a program for people and for Latin people. I see that most of the people who call me were Latin people, also immigrants who came to this country not knowing nothing about the education here, having children with autism, ADHD,
Yeah.
dyslexia, struggling at school. So during the pandemic, I found somebody in Instagram, which was not like casual, and I found and she said that she helped coach or therapists to make an online program. And I talked to her, and I love it, and I create a program that is called Ayuda y Aboga por tu Hijo, which is my program, my goal program, which I love it, where I work with parents, children, and the school.
Very cool. And I'm sure those families are so appreciative of your help.
Yeah.
And you having gone through the school process yourself, and fairly recently, it's very fresh, your experience and how to navigate the system. So I'm sure they're very, very appreciative of all your help. And I think that's amazing working with kids who have challenges. Um, that tackles on some, I mean, because having kids is stressful, and going, through the elementary school years and middle school and even high school, that's stressful for any child and parent. But to tackle on a child who has some challenges, that's just like double stress for the parents and the child. So to have
And
someone
being
like a
immigrant
liaison,
more.
what's that?
Being immigrant is more.
Oh yeah, so that's another thing to tackle on. So it's like double whammy, right? It's just very, very difficult to get going. So to have a program like yours, what a relief for those parents and the kids too. So I think that's very amazing, and it says a lot about you. And when I met you, like you said, like you don't give up, you don't. That was something that shone through, like during the networking. I would look at you and be like, wow, she's got it together, and and funny enough, one thing I always remember that you said, that you worked with children who have challenges, but and I think you took out a book and you said, did you know that even animals have like ADHD or something? And I was like, wow, never knew that. I'm like, she knows her stuff. So I was very happy to connect with you, and then eventually have you in the 31-day program, and then do the 21-mile walk that we did together. So we were in the 31-day program, there's a day where you have to get out of your comfort zone and do something different that you've never done. Um, I myself am a student of the book. Even though I wrote it, I'm always, working on myself every day because I want to be 1% better every day. And I decided to do this 21-mile walk. I was going to walk from my home to the beach, which is 21 miles. And lo and behold, I threw it out there to social media, and just so everyone would hold me accountable, even though I'm very disciplined, but it's always good to throw it out there. And like it was 23 people who ended up joining us on that walk. And Celina was one. And Celina, at that time, you told me that the most you had walked, I think, was 1 mile, right?
Yes. Yes.
And Celina, I mean, her whole family was like, you're crazy, don't do this, and she said, I may not walk the full 21, but I want to push myself. I want to see how far I can walk. And you ended up walking what, 7 miles, 8 miles?
I think that it was 8 miles.
Yeah.
Yes.
So pretty amazing for somebody who had never walked more than 1 mile. Talk about never giving up and pushing. And so you have this fire that I think is pretty amazing. And what are you up to now? Is there a new project or something that you're coming up with now? Is there something on the horizon, something that you're working towards?
Well, I want to talk about a little bit about your program, which helped me a lot. It's not only on that. Of course, I read your program that it says my turn and all the challenges, and I love challenges, as you see, challenges. And really it helped me a lot, not only on on the challenge for the walking, on the
Yeah,
emotional part of, I love what I do. It is my passion, so I don't stop working. And
yeah,
of course, I'm always thinking about my students, the parents, and I work until late. And one of the things that I challenged myself, not only the walking, it was stop working, which is still on my phone. I still have it on my phone, which is say at 6:30 p.m., stop working and, do to yourself, connect with the nature. So I started with that part, which is, it's a big challenge for me.
yeah, that's huge.
It's a big challenge to stop working and say, I know that I didn't finish this, but it will be for tomorrow, and there will be okay if I don't answer. Um, so and then I think that the walking, I did it also because it was a part of connect with the nature, release the stress, do something else that is not working.
Yeah,
So I do, of course, I am with my family a lot. I have grandchildren. So, and it's part of my mental things that which I learned with you too is, to put a space for everyone, a time for everyone.
yeah,
So that's why I changed a lot. Habit, thanks to your program, I changed a lot. The whole thing, like more aware of
yeah,
own health, of my own family, and dedicate time to each one. I always dedicated time for my family, but to be more conscious of
yeah.
it's gonna time for them. And
How was it for them to see you like turn off at 6:30 and put everything away and like, okay, this is the time
well,
to
they don't live
focus?
with me.
It what?
They don't live with me, so they don't see it.
Ah, got it, got it, got it. Right,
They
right.
own, but my husband see it. My husband see it, and then yes, and I said, stop until this time. Some days I still like I see over there, and I'm no, I'm gonna finish. So it's still a challenge.
Yeah.
That's the truth. It's still a challenge because you wanted to finish everything.
I can relate to that, by the way, because I love what I do too. So to put it down, and if I see something pending or someone respond, and I'm like, oh, I need to get to it. So I
Exactly.
agree. It's definitely a challenge. Something I
Exactly.
could work on too. So that's a good thing. Always 1% better.
Exactly. I do have a WhatsApp group for my mothers who join my program. I do have a WhatsApp group which supposed to be open from 8 to 6:30. But if they text me after, and probably they text me after, so I can see it next day.
Right.
But as you say, if you see it, should I answer or not? How am I gonna leave that mom without an answer until tomorrow? So it's hard. And this is one of the things that I am still working on. And another thing is that actually I offered to my group of friends to do a walkathon also.
Oh,
Yeah.
how
But this
how much are we talking? How much
No,
walking are we
this
talking?
walkathon is not gonna be about walking a lot. It's gonna be about only 2 miles because we wanted to do it with a family. It's more
Mm,
for for a volunteer group that I'm working to collect money for Israel. So that's what it's all about. But because
beautiful.
I love it, what we did, and I wanted to connect again and show people that you can do another type of sponsorship, which
Mhm.
is not just, a regular one, doing like something that is fun, that you connect with people,
That's
that you
healthy.
that you feel empowered also. That's empower you a lot.
I love that. I love that you took that and you're running with it on your own. So I think that's
Yeah.
very, very cool. Well,
Yeah.
Celina, I thank you so much for telling us more about you and your experience as an immigrant. I I mean, I have never experienced anything like that myself. So you've given me a glimpse into what that's like. And I know many of us probably feel the same. We were born here and we take for granted how safe and easy it is here, right? If you were to throw me in Germany, and I don't know the language, I don't know anything, that it would be quite the culture shock for me. Um, so I applaud you for taking that step for your family and for yourself. And the fact that you didn't keep it, like you didn't come here and just like mooch off the system. You completely said, no, I'm going to get my life in order. I'm going to get my career back. I'm going to, you have all these visions and you worked hard until you reach them. So it's possible. You can do anything you want, right? Like the sky's the limit. You put your own limits on yourself. So thank you for sharing your story. It's very inspiring. I can't wait to see what's next for you and
My
what you
pleasure.
do with educational services. Tell me how we can, your program is virtual, right?
It is virtual
Partially.
and it's for all United States. Yes.
Mhm.
I offer it for all United States. It's for Latin people mostly.
Mhm.
And yes, it's a program that lasts for 6 months. So whoever, and it's ongoing. It's not that I have, it's an ongoing program that whoever wants to join has a child who has, ADHD, autism, or any challenges, they can join the program.
Awesome. And how can
At
they
the
get a
end,
hold of you?
what?
How can they get a hold of you? Through
Uh,
Instagram or your email or
Instagram, yes, and you can see it over there, Educational Service 360. So they can go to Instagram, and over there I have a team who's gonna help them to, I have like a 20 minutes free interview to interview the parents to see if they are, is this is something that fit their needs.
awesome. Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you for everything. I appreciate you spending this morning with me. I know you're a busy woman, so I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
No, I really wanted to say thank you to you too, because you open a lot of things that you are in the day by day doing your life, and you open a lot of things, a new word for me about a lot of things, emotional and physical.
I love it. I love it. Well, this is not going to end. You and I will continue
So,
to grow together. So I look forward to that. Thank you for taking the time again this morning. I appreciate it.
okay, bye. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.